a big order by the Supreme Court and a huge observation which will have far-reaching impact. Possibly for the first time, the Supreme Court has flagged the abuse of law by a serial complainant. The rape case, which was against a former army officer, has been quashed by the top court. And this justice has happened after false allegations by the complainant. Now, complainant's credibility was questioned in the Supreme Court order as she had filed multiple FIRs and, did not even then follow up in many of those cases. The Supreme Court slammed the complainant's lack of cooperation and has given the relief to the retired army officer, his honor restored. And the Supreme Court order has also sent across a very strong message. Nowhere, ladies and gentlemen, and understand this, that nowhere it is being said that, women are not at the receiving end of sexual violence. But the problem is that people like these, complainants like these, not only do they misuse the law, but then they put a question mark on the entire process of genuine victims as far as this country is concerned. Let me very quickly go across to special guests. In fact, joining us at this moment, Captain Retired Rakesh Walia. He is the petitioner and the victim in this case. And we are also being joined by Mr. Ashwani Dubey, the advocate from Supreme Court, the man who represented him in this case. Captain Walia, thank you so much for speaking to us. First of all, congratulations, sir. Your honor being restored. It has been a long fight for you. If you could tell us the circumstances and the long battle that you had to fight.
Thank you very much for inviting me on your show. And it's a pleasure to be here. You see, this battle started almost about somewhere around 2021 December. The FIR was lodged against me. And the circumstances which led to the institution of this FIR was that I'm an author and I have authored 5 books. A book on my life, Broken Crayons Can Still Color, was the 3rd bestseller. Now, this book was launched somewhere during 2017, 2018. 2018, I suffered cancer. And 2019, 18-19 was the recovery period. 20, COVID happened. That was the time these people, they contacted me. They said, we read your book, Broken Crayons Can Still Color. And they pretended themselves, or they posed themselves to be social media influencers. There was a group of 2-3 people, husband, wife, and one more lady. And they said, we can promote your book, and also we can translate your book into Hindi so that it reaches tier 2 and tier 3 cities. That is how this thing started off.
Right. So, in how much time after being in contact with them were these allegations leveled at you? I'm sure it must have been a very traumatic experience to try and go, because, once this kind of an FIR registered against an individual, given the circumstances that we live in, people presume that the man is the guilty party.
You see, unfortunately, what has happened is we are unable to distinguish between, as soon as somebody said the person is accused. It is an accusation. It is an accusation. It is not he's done a crime. Now, suppose I just tell you that you have slapped me. I have accused you. Then the court has to decide whether I have slapped you or not. It is an accusation. But as soon as such accusation is put on to you, hell breaks out. And trust me, hell breaks out. At my age, with my medical condition, my wife bedridden, she already had 2 open heart surgeries. She was on oxygen 24/7. And the circumstances were such. The first thing is you lose everything in life. You lose your job. It happened on 29th of December at night. 29th December or 30th in the morning, I got a call from my seniors that we can't continue like that and you tender your resignation, which I did. Though I tried to explain myself, and I had put in almost about 16 to 18 years of my service. So everybody tried to take advantage of you at that moment. I do realize, yes, they wanted, later on, they wanted to, what I could make out is they wanted to reduce their costings, because the same company hired me for 2 years as a consultant. Then Yes, you see, all such things happen where nobody is prepared to distinguish between the accusation and real creditability of the person who has put the charges against you.
Right. Ashwini Dubey, you fought this case, and it's fascinating. I was going through the order. In one of the order, in fact, point number 5, the court in fact says, apart from the statement in the FIR and under section 164, there is no other evidence on record. However, what is most concerning before this court is that the same respondent had filed nearly identical cases, at least against 8 other individuals. Isn't this possibly the first time the Supreme Court is exposing the way the criminal law, especially sympathetic to women, and in such cases, and it ought to be, is being misused by certain individuals?
Yes, the abuse and misuse, the way it is coming in the light, Ankit ji, that is that the basic intention behind this bringing these laws are being shattered. The laws focusing on women were enacted with the admirable goal of empowering women and shielding them from various sorts of violence, injustice, indiscrimination. But what is happening, the way it is being rampantly misused in order to settle personal discourse, in order to extort money. What thing happened at the case of Captain Walia? What has happened in the case of Vishnu Tiwari? What has happened in Chennai false rape case? You see, the minor daughter falsely accused her father of rape. Another case, a mom in Ghaziabad accused her neighbor. The Atul Subhash case. You see the Manav Sharma case, IIT Tech case. The way it is being misused, Ankit, has really the potential misuse of this law has started. The days
Mr.
have
Dubey,
gone.
let me ask you this. In relation to this case, nobody would want, because we know, sir, that yes, there are these cases and examples of abuse, but there are lakhs and lakhs of women who go through traumatic experiences in this country. Nobody is advocating watering down the law, but in cases like this, if it is proven that the complaint is frivolous, it has been made, the same woman has made this complaint against 8 people, same modus operandi, no evidence being produced, shouldn't this woman also be booked? Is it time, for such provisions to in fact take place?
There is already a provision in the criminal jurisprudence, criminal law, that the wrongful malicious prosecution instituted by any individual are being misused, then the person should be prosecuted. But who should prosecute? The police. Who has misused this law? The police. Police knowing, you see, what has happened, Ankit, in this case? Captain Walia, the allegation was that the lady was allegedly raped in Noida. She went to the Noida police station. They said, no, nothing has happened in Noida. Very brave. Those police officials were very brave. They said, nothing has happened in our jurisdiction, so FIR won't be registered. Went to another police station. They said, no, it is not your jurisdiction. Went to Ghitorni police station, not registered. Then Mehrauli, she went where no cause of action, but FIR was registered within 11 minutes. Don't you think that the proximate link by the state official, number one. Number 2, Ankit, when it comes to the light that the FIR is vague, false, maliciously instituted, and there is no evidence, the police was duty bound to file a no case made out FIR. But what it was said, that the rape, the unnatural sex, and the threat, everything happened. The police was that distant. It was also in the hands of the police to file that, look, Captain Walia is not guilty. Captain Walia is not accused. He should be honored. His respect should be honored. But what has happened? His wife suffered. He suffered. He lost his life. And there are thousands
Mr.
and thousands.
Dubey, but do you think that the police failed in their duty? I mean, registering an FIR is no offense. You have to investigate and then understand whether, which side has evidence. That is the job of the police to investigate. They just registered the FIR, harassed the victim in this case, Captain Walia, and just left it to the courts to decide what they want to do with it. Just go through the wheels of justice again and again.
Then it is in the hands of police also. Courts would come at a later stage. There are the 3 stages of a criminal law. Suspect, accused, and convict. When the police investigate it, then our investigation report means that there are proximate evidences or not. There is a fine line, proximate link between the offense happened and not happened. If not happened, then the police is duty bound to bring it to the notice of the court that, my lord, please quash this, please finish this. There is nothing against Captain Walia. What the Supreme Court did, that would have been done by the police itself when filing the charge sheet.
Yes.
when there was no evidence. That is what the correctly noted by the Supreme Court. Now, two, the another court, the High Court also failed in its duty. That is why Honorable Supreme Court says
Absolutely.
the High Court possibly should have quashed this, but failed to do
I was coming to that only. The High Court, the Supreme Court has made that mention that the High Court, in fact, at their stage should have thrown this case out. But Captain Walia, let me understand this from you, sir. Was there any demand? Was there any demand to extort money from you? And give our viewers a sense of how it impacted your family life, your circle, people looking at you with suspicion.
Ankit, yes, there was a demand. But before I answer that, I just want to bring out one thing. As Ashwini sir has mentioned, now you see the police has filed a no arrest charge sheet. It is the rarest of the rare where a no arrest charge sheet is filed, and I am not arrested. In the charge sheet, it's clearly mentioned she refused to cooperate, she refused to give her clothes, she refused to undergo medical, she refused to give blood for alcohol test. But she refused everything. And within 13 or 14 minutes, this charge sheet has been filed. And before filing, you see, first she went to Noida. 6 o'clock, she was at Noida police station. 5:48, she sends a message to my son and deletes the message. Just before she was at Noida police station. Then 11 o'clock at night, she reaches Mehrauli. 10:58, she sends a second message to my son. No, see, and if you see the writing, the complaint itself is so well written. It is like that, in case I say in Hindi, it is like motiyon ki mala jadi hui hai. It is no overwriting, no deletion, nothing. And where in India in 13 minutes the FIR is lodged?
Okay.
Nowhere. And I am struggling for last 3.5, 4 years. That nobody is listening to me. So many messages, emails my lawyers have sent to the Commissioner of Police. So many times we have approached here and there. I have filed another suit against her, asking the police to lodge an FIR.
Right.
They are just not prepared to do it. And as I said,
yes. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
As soon as such a things happen, and as I said, hell breaks out. Trust me, it was absolutely miserable.
Ashwini, in conclusion, let me very quickly ask you this and, quickly answer that. If the police does not take any action against the complainant, against this woman at this moment, what are the legal options that you and your client have, to take some action against her?
Damages, defamation, claiming the recovery of the reputation which has lost. And Ankit, false allegations destroy the life, reputation and social standing of a person. Number one. Number two, when the doctrine of rule of law establishes that everyone shall be equal before the law, why don't we have a gender neutral law? Captain Walia approached me through one of the friend, Deepika Narayan Bharadwaj. Had Deepika Narayan Bharadwaj not supported Captain Walia, he would have been languishing. And there are many people, innocent people in the country. I'm thankful to you and NDTV that you have raised this voice as such a label. But there are many innocent languishing in jail. They don't have money to afford to come to the Supreme Court. So why we don't have a gender neutral law like the many countries like the USA, UK, Canada, Philippines, Finland, Ireland and Australia have? Let's have a gender neutral law. Let's have a
possibly these are the things that should have been looked into when we were moving into a new legal system under the BNS. Maybe there is still opportunity to do that under the new system of the law judiciary that we are in for getting into. But at this moment, I would like to thank both of you for speaking to us. Thank you, Captain Walia, for making sure that your voice is heard and people are aware that how the law can be misused. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, nobody is advocating the fact that there is any need to water down the law. We understand women get a raw deal, in most of the cases. But even a minuscule part which is misused, like in this case, which has been flagged by the Supreme Court, it ruins life. And then equality should also be seen as far as these cases are concerned.